There comes a moment in life when silence speaks louder than words, a moment when you stop fighting battles that were never yours to win, a moment when you realize that peace is not found in someone's arms, but in your own heart. And that moment changes everything. You see, people expect to see you broken, shattered, angry, or lost after pain. They expect to see you chasing answers, drowning in memories, or begging for closure. But what they don't expect is your peace. Peace confuses them. Peace unsettles them. Because peace means you chose yourself. And the truth is, nothing is more powerful. Nothing is more attractive. Nothing is more haunting than a soul that walks away from chaos and embraces calm. Do you know what the most powerful form of revenge is? It's not anger. It's not arguments. It's not trying to prove who was right or wrong. The most powerful form of revenge is peace. When you walk away from chaos, when you detach yourself from the drama, when you don't allow someone's betrayal, rejection, or abandonment to define your worth, that's when you become untouchable. And I want you to imagine this for a moment. A woman who once doubted you, who once dismissed your love, who maybe took you for granted, one day she sees you again, not broken, not bitter, not chasing, not trying to convince her of anything. Instead, she sees you calm, collected, and living a life of peace. You see, nothing shakes a woman more than realizing the man she once thought she could control, the man she believed would always wait for her, the man she assumed could never heal without her, is now living without her. And not just living, he's thriving. Peaceful moving on doesn't mean you don't care anymore. It means you've chosen yourself. It means you've understood that real love cannot be begged for, cannot be forced, and cannot be kept by clinging. When a woman sees this transformation, her heart reacts in ways she never expected. First, there's disbelief. She tells herself, no, this can't be him. He can't really be fine without me. Because deep down she believed your peace was tied to her presence. Then comes curiosity. She wonders, how did he heal so quickly? Who is giving him this peace? Where did he find the strength? And that curiosity is powerful. It's not about missing you. It's about realizing that the person she underestimated is far stronger than she thought. And after curiosity comes reflection. She starts questioning her own choices. Did I lose someone who was actually rare? Did I let go of a love that was real? Did I play a game that only destroyed me in the end? That's the silent storm that your peace creates. Not arguments, not insults, just peace. And here's the deeper truth. When you move on peacefully, you're not only affecting her, you're healing yourself. You're teaching your soul that closure doesn't come from someone else's apology. Closure comes from your decision to no longer allow pain to define you. Every peaceful step you take forward is a silent message. I value myself too much to stay where I was not valued. Now imagine her watching that. Imagine her seeing you laugh without forcing it, smile without hiding pain, sleep without overthinking, and build a life without begging for love. That's when she feels something she never thought she would feel: regret. Because regret is not about losing someone. Regret is about realizing too late the value of what you lost. And nothing stirs regret in a woman's heart more than seeing a man live in peace after she thought she broke him. You know why? Because peace cannot be faked. Success can be faked. Smiles can be faked. Status can be faked. But peace is energy. People feel it. It's in the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself. And when that peace radiates from you, it becomes undeniable. So when she sees you've moved on peacefully, she sees a version of you she cannot touch anymore. She can't manipulate peace. She can't disturb peace. She can't compete with peace. And that makes her powerless. This is why I tell men again and again, don't waste time proving your worth to someone who failed failed to see it. Don't waste your energy in anger, in revenge, in showing off. The most powerful statement you will ever make is to live peacefully, happily, without them. And let me tell you something important. A peaceful man is magnetic because the world is full of noise, full of broken people seeking validation, full of chaos. But when you stand as a man who is grounded, calm, unshaken, you become rare, and rare is always remembered. She may move on, she may date, she may even pretend she's happier without you, but somewhere when she sees you've truly moved on in peace, that image will haunt her, not because she wants you back, but because she realizes she can never have that version of you again. The version of you that begged, gone. The version of you that cried, gone. The version of you that settled for less, gone. Now stands a man of peace, a man who chose himself. And let me remind you of this. Moving on peacefully is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Anyone can scream, anyone can argue, anyone can try to get even, but it takes a strong soul to walk away and say, I deserve better, and I will not disturb my peace for anything less. So how does a woman feel when she sees you've moved on peacefully? She feels shaken, she feels regret, she feels powerless, but most importantly, she feels the weight of her own choices. And you feel free, you feel healed, you feel untouchable, because peace is not about forgetting them. Peace is about remembering yourself. There comes a moment in life when silence speaks louder than words, a moment when you stop fighting battles that were never yours to win, a moment when you realize that peace is not found in someone's arms, but in your own heart. And that moment changes everything. You see, people expect to see you broken, shattered, angry, or lost after pain. They expect to see you chasing answers, drowning in memories, or begging for closure. But what they don't expect is your peace. Peace confuses them. Peace unsettles them, because peace means you chose yourself. When you choose yourself, you send out a silent but powerful message to the world. I know who I am. I know my worth. I will not crumble because someone else could not see my value. And this energy, this shift in your being shakes people more than your words ever could. Imagine this. You're walking through life, no longer carrying heavy baggage, no longer dragging the chains of what happened. You've stopped explaining yourself, stopped justifying, stopped needing validation. Instead, you carry yourself with calm. You move with a steady rhythm. Your eyes no longer hold desperation. They hold depth. Your voice no longer trembles. It carries certainty. And when someone who once believed you would never find this peace sees you now, it touches something deep inside them. Because peace is rare, peace is powerful, peace is undeniable. At first, they won't believe it. They'll think, this is temporary, this calm is a mask. Sooner or later, the cracks will show. But then days pass, weeks pass, months pass, and your peace only grows stronger. That's when disbelief turns into a question. How? How did they find this strength? How are they living without me when I thought they couldn't? This is where the tables turn, because the same person who once thought you were weak now realizes your greatest strength was never in holding on. It was in letting go. And letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean erasing memories. It doesn't mean you pretend the past never existed. Letting go means you finally understood that clinging to what breaks you is the ultimate form of self-betrayal. The beauty of moving on peacefully is that it's not loud. It doesn't need an announcement. It doesn't need a performance. Peaceful moving on is quiet, but the impact is thunderous. It's in the way you smile again, the way you sleep at night, the way you laugh without forcing it, the way you carry yourself without the invisible weight. And the truth is, nothing makes people question themselves more than seeing you at peace after they thought they left you in pieces. Because when you're angry, they can dismiss it. When you're bitter, they can blame you. When you're chasing, they can feel powerful. But when you're peaceful, they can do nothing. They can't argue with peace. They can't dismiss peace. They can't compete with peace. This is why peace is the ultimate answer. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about proving to yourself that you deserve freedom from pain. You deserve calm after the storm. You deserve to be whole again. And when that realization finally shows in your actions, in your energy, in the way you live your life, you become untouchable. And the more untouchable you become, the more powerful your silence feels. Silence that once carried pain now carries dignity. Silence that once felt heavy now feels like strength. Because you're no longer waiting for someone to come and fix you. You've realized you were the healer all along. When people see you in this state, something inside them shifts. They remember the version of you that struggled, that begged, that cried. They compare it to the version of you now, calm, centered, radiant. And the difference is undeniable. And this difference speaks louder than any revenge, louder than any confrontation, louder than any explanation ever could. That's the beauty of peaceful moving on. It doesn't just change the way others see you, it changes the way you see yourself. You start to respect yourself in a way you never did before. You start to love yourself in a way you once reserved only for others. You start to protect your energy like it is sacred, and it is, because energy doesn't lie. You can pretend to be happy, you can fake smiles, you can post pictures to look strong, but when peace is real, it radiates. People feel it in your presence. They see it in your eyes. They sense it in the way you carry yourself. And that energy cannot be faked, cannot be copied, cannot be taken away from you. And here's something many don't understand. Peaceful moving on is not about indifference. It's not about pretending you never cared. It's not about shutting your heart down. It's about accepting that life has seasons, that not everyone is meant to stay, that some chapters are meant to end, no matter how deeply they began. This acceptance is what frees you. It's what makes your heart light again. And when someone who once believed they had power over your emotions sees this, it unsettles them. Because deep down, they expected you to always be defined by the pain. They expected you to always carry the wound. And when you don't, they realize they no longer have any hold on you. Think about that. How powerful it is when someone who thought you couldn't survive without them finally sees that you're not just surviving, you're living. You're breathing deeper, you're laughing louder, you're walking taller. That is when the roles reverse. And let me tell you, regret does not come when someone loses you. Regret comes when someone realizes they can never access the version of you they once knew. The version that tolerated, that forgave endlessly, that accepted less than they deserved. That version no longer exists. In its place stands someone new, someone at peace. Peace is the greatest transformation you can ever undergo because peace cannot be manipulated. Peace cannot be taken hostage. Peace cannot be negotiated. Once you find it within yourself, you carry it everywhere. And when you live in that state, no one, not even the person who once broke you, can take it away. And this is the truth that shakes them to the core because they don't just see your peace, they feel it. They feel it when you no longer react. They feel it when you no longer chase. They feel it when you no longer need their validation. And that feeling burns deeper than any words you could ever say. And the truth is, peace does something more than just heal you, it redefines you. Because when you finally detach, when you finally stop letting someone else's choices control your emotions, you begin to build an identity that is not built on hurt, but on strength. And that strength shows. People begin to notice it even in the smallest ways. They notice the calm in your face when you walk into a room. They notice the confidence in your step. They notice the ease in your voice. And sometimes they don't even have the words to describe it, but they feel it. They feel that you are no longer the same person who once carried pain like a weight, and the one who once thought they could define you. They feel it the most. They may smile on the outside, they may pretend they don't care, but inside they're asking themselves questions. How did this person find peace without me? How did they rebuild without me? Why do they look so much lighter, calmer, freer than before? This is the power of peaceful moving on. It forces others to reflect, even if they never admit it, because no matter how strong they try to look, seeing you at peace plants a seed of doubt in them. It makes them wonder if they underestimated you, if they lost someone rare, if they took for granted something they'll never find again. And you know what? That reflection is not for you to see. It's not for you to wait for. It's not for you to care about. That reflection is theirs to carry, because by the time they feel it, you're already too far gone. You're already on a new path. You're already building a life that has no space for old chaos. And that's the ultimate twist. When you move on peacefully, you don't just walk away from them. You walk into a new version of yourself, a version that doesn't need their validation, doesn't need their presence, doesn't need their apology, a version that is whole without them. And once you discover that wholeness, once you discover that nothing outside of you has the power to break what's inside of you, you begin to live differently. You begin to dream bigger. You begin to see life in colors you once forgot existed. This is what unsettles them the most. Not that you're gone, but that you're gone and at peace, because leaving is easy. Anyone can leave, but leaving and finding peace, that's rare. And rare is unforgettable. And I want you to understand this deeply. Peaceful moving on is not about erasing the past. It's about no longer bleeding from it. It's about turning wounds into wisdom, pain into power, loss into lessons. And when you embody this transformation, you become someone they cannot define anymore. Because when they look at you now, they don't see the same person they once knew. They see someone who walked through fire and came out with calm. They see someone who survived storms and came out with peace. And that image stays with them. It follows them. It reminds them of what they can never have again. So understand this. Your greatest power was never in holding on. It was always in letting go. Your strength was never in proving your worth to anyone. It was in realizing you were worthy all along. And your healing was never about forgetting what happened. It was about remembering who you are. When you move on peacefully, you don't just close a chapter, you begin a whole new book. A book where your happiness is not borrowed, where your identity is not tied to anyone else, where your soul breathes freely again. And if there's one thing I want you to carry with you tonight, it's this: peace is your crown. Wear it so strongly that no one can take it off you again. Because in the end, the most unforgettable version of you is not the one who begged, not the one who broke, not the one who waited. The most unforgettable version of you is the one who chose peace and never looked back.